YouTube, what's going on? It's your boy Ao. We are back with another video. We're going to be talking about the new Mech stuff. I have a video covering basically everything about the new Mech stuff when it very first came out. The devs hadn't even posted any information about it. So now we have some more updated information, new ways to gather the materials. And this video in particular is going to be talking about the radiation side of things, which might prove to be the most kind of important thing about this new Mech workshop stuff. So let's jump into the mechs. If you haven't seen that video previously, I'll have it in the description, and you should be able to click it up here. But here we have Daring Wily. I'm going to focus mostly on Daring Wily. It's basically the exact same for the other two, just with the different types of radiations and stuff. So if you have your new mech, you'll see at the very bottom there's these two skills. One is basically always unlocked. This is kind of like a basic attack for your mech, for the special mechs. So use the primary weapon to launch one attack against one random enemy squad every round, dealing 400% radiation damage. The type of radiation damage will be determined by the damage type of the mech's primary weapon. So again, your primary weapon is your one on the left. If you look on your weapons, you now have this radiation type thing here. So sound wave is the radiation type for the axes, for the fighter weapons. And then you'll notice you have a sound wave radiation with a kind of a number here. If you look on the vehicle one, it is prism, and you have the prism radiation. The lower your rank, so for this we have 750. It's level 50. It's rank 5. Your rank 4 weapon is going to have a lower radiation, as well as obviously lower stats just in general, but again, we're mostly focusing on the radiation stuff. If we look at the 2-star, 450, the 1-star, 300, 0 is 105, and then it's a huge jump down to legendaries. So this might mean I don't actually have a legendary leveled up that high. If you do have a rank 5 legendary, let me know what the radiation level is, because it might be important enough to start switching to lower rank or kind of worse epic weapons, just based on the radiation scale. So what does that mean? Well, it basically means if I equip an axe, Daring Wily his radiation type for Daring Wily's skills will now be sound wave. So again, swing, and then there's a second ability here. The second ability you unlock by fully unlocking. So if you go to the Mech Workshop, if you get this hardware up to 100%, the very last node here, you unlock the skill Mass Attack. Now, Mass Attack, this is basically what it does. Heavy blow against all enemy squads in rounds 2, 5, and 8, dealing 160% radiation damage to them. So it's against all squads, so you can multiply this by 3. So 480 on round 2, 5, and 8. So now, what does radiation damage actually mean? Well, if we go back to our mech, wait a second. The interface got a little screwy there. If we go back to our mech, actually interesting. This will show me just what I'm gaining from him. Okay, so this works actually a little bit better. Based on what you have in your Mech Workshop, which is all of this stuff currently for my base on Daring Wily, or the base that I'm on, I have plus 15 sound wave strength and plus 5 thunderbolt immunity. Now, like I just showed, yes, I have Soundwave weapon type, but if we unequip that and we equip a Thunderbolt radiation type, I still have the plus 15 to Soundwave strength. But all of his attacks, or her, whatever it is, will now have the Soundwave radiation stuff. Excuse me, not the Soundwave, the Thunderbolt radiation stuff. So, if you equip a primary weapon on the mech who doesn't necessarily give you any bonuses, you will not get any bonuses. This does not change. So, this is basically now rendered completely useless. The Thunderbolt immunity will always be good. It will never change depending on your weapon. So just keep that in mind. There will be, there might be a scenario where you change the primary weapon, but I would say 99% of the time, you basically need to match your primary weapon with the new mech. You'll just get a lot of radiation stuff. Eventually, as we keep going through these nodes, we'll have hundreds of radiation points for a particular radiation type. So again, Soundwave, he is Soundwave. If we go to Hopter of Fantasy, he gets Prism Strength, and as you might have guessed it, the vehicle stuff is Prism. So now we have some more information on what radiation actually does. It's a completely separate type of damage. It has the stats are totally changed. So might doesn't matter. So if you have 3,000 might and your opponent has 1,000 might, you will deal, and your mechs are exactly the same, like you have the same exact weapon and the same mech workshop, you will deal the same amount of radiation damage. So it basically just disregards all of your troop stats, your troop might, your fighter resistance and things like that. It disregards those. However, the main component of the radiation stuff is, I guess, your mech workshop, basically, right? So we have the Soundwave strength increase, and you have the immunity stuff. Depending on how far you go down in the nodes, you might have hundreds of immunity and additional radiation. Now, radiation is also a bonus that basically you cannot heal, or not a bonus, but a damage type that cannot be healed during the fight. It can only be healed after a fight through your hospitals and things like that. But it cannot be healed during the fight. And yeah, that's basically how it is. So it will be sort of a rock, paper, scissors again, which I did mention in the original video. That has not changed. Basically, Daring Wily will do really well against the shooter mech, which most likely means, Boudica the Sentry, which most likely means they'll have shooters in that in this APC. Again, you can switch this out. So right now I'm getting 600 Thunderbolt radiation. My Boudica gives me an additional 10, so I have 610, and this will, increase basically the amount of radiation damage per these skills. You can, however, switch to the Soundwave radiation stuff on Boudica. You'll just lose the Mech Workshop additional effects, but you'll basically not get countered by Daring Wily's Thunderbolt immunity, if that makes sense. So that is potentially a strategy that we'll see people using. It's hard to see that because you, again, would lose all of your Mech Workshop stuff. But if your Mech Workshop isn't very high, then I guess it would warrant situations where you would basically just be changing your primary weapons based on what your enemy is using. So hopefully that makes sense. Radiation as a whole, it's totally new. I expect that we will see quite a few things with radiation. Again, if you go into this interface, you'll see there's some other stuff here. There's like Combat Command and whatever else. The rest of these nodes, potentially they have extra skills. I'm not really sure, but I guess, maybe we'll find out. Eventually, these mechs might have a bunch of skills from the Mechs Workshop, not just the mass attack or not just the one skill and the one basic attack, essentially. And radiation might just become a really, really important thing. Like I said, it's interesting. I don't know why I pronounce it like that, but it's interesting because it basically ignores all of your might and all of your resistance. It's kind of its own category of fighting, sort of like missiles were. I don't know what is going on with my pronunciation, but that's it on the radiation stuff. Once we have people who, the super whales who have started really, really going high in the Mech Workshop, we'll be able to see huge differences, potentially huge differences. If someone is fully unlocked in this stuff. Okay, so it actually does have new skills for each one. All right, so yeah, potentially as we go higher and higher and higher, as the whales get all of this stuff out, their radiation stuff, the radiation battles might become huge, 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 really, really important, and it'll be a difference between like whale versus whale. Meaning, if I'm using Daring Wiley and I go up against your APC that has Boudica the Sentry, we're both whales. We both have the same stats. Daring Wiley should be winning. This APC should be winning basically all of the time. So we will have to wait a little bit for that. There are some packs now finally. Like this, the basic mod drawing chest. So these are basically selectables. You can then just choose, okay, I want, my mech drawings just for Daring Wiley. I want to get him to 100% hardware first, so I get that skill, and so on and so forth. I'm not really sure, about these packs, about the value of these packs. It's hard to know, really, the value of getting extra radiation damage. It's pretty tough to know. We're kind of going to have to wait for the super whales to buy out everything for a couple of weeks, and then we can really tell. If you buy this package, another one is going to spawn a $10 one for like 1,000 or whatever it is, a $20 one, 50, and then 100, just like all of the packs basically go. So yeah, just keep that in mind. If you want to buy this stuff, feel free. However, I don't know how strong it's going to be. Okay. Now let's talk about the selectable stuff, because that's what a lot of people have asked me so far. Which ones should I choose? Which character here, or which mech here? It's going to obviously depend on your base, on your heroes, on your system, on your setups. What weapons do you have? Do you have really, really strong vehicle weapons, really strong fighter weapons, or what do you have? Maybe it's all shooter stuff. Who knows? 9 times out of 10, if you have all of the heroes in the game, you're going to want to upgrade your Daring the Wily first. Just because Super Killer is so overpowered, she's disgustingly broken. This APC right here is, being considered the strongest APC in the game right now. Of course, there will be new Season X heroes. Maybe things will change. But for right now, in this very moment when this video is being recorded, your full fighter APC is basically your strongest. Usually people are going to have really, really strong fighter weapons at this point. So you're going to want to select basically everything for that Daring Wily or your fighter mech character. Now, I'm not sure. Again, it's hard to know at the moment, but most likely you will want to be unlocking Daring Wily as high as he goes up until you get hardware 100%. Get that mech skill. This radiation stuff will be pretty strong. So something to consider. Now there is an upgrade of these. We'll have to wait until people actually max out the hardware component to then see, okay, how do you actually upgrade it? Quite likely you upgrade it through similar ways, more mech, the more mech blueprints. But it will get stronger and stronger up to 240. Again, this is 240 times 3. So 720 damage on rounds 2, 5, and 8. Radiation damage. Coupled with the bonuses that he's going to get from here. So Soundwave Strength increase, Soundwave Strength, Soundwave Strength. So it could be really, 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 really strong. So hopefully that makes a little bit more sense on the radiation stuff. What I had said in the original video wasn't necessarily the case. One of the main things to consider, or the main new things that we have, is that radiation is totally separate, so it has no effect. If you're a farm and you just decide, you know what, I'm gonna just wail out on these mech stuff, your radiation will be stronger than a whale with 3,000 might who has not upgraded this stuff. Now, granted, you'll still probably lose the battle, but your radiation will be stronger. So that's something to consider at least. Also, you can switch your weapons, especially in the early game where you don't really have huge mech workshops. You can switch out your primary weapons, and it will be better than basically banking on this, 10 or 15 or 20 extra strength there. All right, that's going to do it for this video, guys. Hopefully it makes sense. Hopefully you've enjoyed. Once some whales start getting really, really deep into this tree, I'll get you guys battle reports, basically, dissecting the actual radiation stuff. So stay tuned for that. That should be happening in the next week or so, once more and more packs come out. Right now, you can't really nobody is really that far ahead, just based on the number of packs that have been released. So stay tuned, guys. I will see you guys in the next one. Hope you enjoyed. Hopefully it helped. Peace.